Hi guys, we're getting ready to do a water sign reading. Okay, so funny, I kind of started doing a water sign reading and it ended up being a Cancer reading. And if you don't know, I'm a Cancer. My energy has been really intense this morning, really strong feelings about like just being authentic to my energy, being in alignment with myself, kind of standing up for myself in a different way than I'm used to, stuff like that. But that's just Cancer sun. But it doesn't matter what your placements are. It doesn't matter if you even have water in your chart. If you're feeling emotional or anything like that, this reading may resonate with you. I'm going to set my intentions even more outside of myself here and my own energy. And that's hard as a reader to do that sometimes. So I am doing a water sign reading. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. And I do have Pisces in my chart. I believe I have Scorpio in my chart. I have water in my chart. I have a lot of earth in my chart. There's a lot of stuff in your chart. But I want to get just a general water reading. We've just went through the full moon. There's been a lot of energy shifts. I'm feeling like spirits really came in strong yesterday, especially with the first two readings I did. It feels like a spiritual like momming or scolding almost, that people know what they need to be doing right now to get in alignment with themselves. And I don't think necessarily they're doing it for themselves. They're kind of expecting it to be done for them or somebody to bring something, etc. To the table that like fixes things or makes things better. And it's just that feeling of like passiveness. But we're going to see what comes out for the water signs. And we got, what does your heart want? Truly sitting and thinking about what your heart wants. What do you feel? Be free to manifest your heart's desires, which means you first have to know exactly what it is you want. And values did come out in the last reading. Time to move on, flow with the river, see where it takes you. There could be an old energy or an old way of feeling, believing, whether this is about yourself or your environment or something that you need to move away from or move out of a certain energy, because your heart just, it's just feels like there's something here this is not in alignment. So let's go ahead and get an empathic oracle on this. And we got your story. Your story. And on the bottom, mountains. And right away, I just wanted to say, with everybody's story, but your story especially, water signs that this resonates with, has been full of climbing mountains and doing work to reach a certain point in your journey where through like living this out and also when I see the book too, I think about expression and expressing your story, the way you express your story, the way you tell your story, what your story truly is in alignment with what your heart wants now, today. There is something here about somewhere in your journey to reaching a certain point in your life, you have maybe felt that you couldn't have what you wanted or what your heart wants or something like that. It's just been, it feels very, maybe, and there is this feeling here, time to move on, flow with the river, see where it takes you, and the river to me is water. It's emotions, flowing with your emotions and see where they take you. I'm going to keep going with this and we're going to get more on this, water signs, but, and we got forgiveness. And your story may have a lot of forgiveness in it. And you may be on a forgiving, healing path. Whether you have forgiven or need to forgive others or vice versa. Water signs, this is about forgiveness and love and what your heart wants. And maybe, let's see what's on the bottom here. Reunion of souls. Somebody else might have had that. I don't remember if it was air. I think it was air signs. So you may have air in your chart too. But forgiveness. And it's very, there's something here in this storyline or this situation that is requiring forgiveness. And it's part of your story, this forgiveness. And that may be what your heart truly wants. And you can manifest that forgiveness. You can bring it you bring it by giving it also, by forgiving yourself for one, and forgiving others, and moving on. This is flow with the river. See where it takes you. What are your emotions telling you about your heart, your story, and where it is this forgiveness is going to come into play? It will be interesting to see where that comes in, because this is feeling pretty like your story. Like, and when I think of story too, I think like that's our earthly story. Like that's our story is like the time we were born on this earth to the time we leave. That's our story. That's the book. That's what's recorded and written. But energetically, I feel like there's a bigger story too. Like, I just feel that. Like, I'm not saying, everybody has to believe what I believe or whatever, but I feel like part of your story, a strong part of your story, is forgiveness. There's something about forgiveness here, what your heart wants. Maybe you want to forgive somebody. Maybe you want to be forgiven. And it's just part of your journey, part of the mountain, the obstacles. We're going to get one of these shaman's dreams and see what comes out here. Oh, and you guys, I cannot wait. I'm getting like a divider thing. So this is all going to be like, I just ordered it. Oh, it should be here by next week, but it's going to be nice to have that like little bit of background privacy kind of area. Moon Maiden, new beginnings. What does your heart truly want? Does it want new beginnings, water signs? Is there a fresh start you want? Is it time to move on from old energy or an old story? An old story about all the old obstacles that you've reached a point where this part of the story is already wrote and it's time to move on to a new chapter. That's what I'm feeling. And this is involving forgiveness, the healing process. And I believe forgiveness is a huge part of the healing process. And one of the only ways we can like successfully move on and be truly like peaceful and happy. Like if we don't forgive others and we don't forgive ourselves and we just live in an old book or an old story that other people are telling us about ourselves, or we're telling them about ourselves, you can't move into a new energy. There's the Moon Maiden, new beginnings, and there is a new moon coming up, and I'm feeling that new moon energy. Even though this is a full moon, we did just have the full moon, so it's kind of a new cycle here we're getting into, and I'm going to read that. But then on the bottom it says Watchers, transpersonal. If I remember right, I have gotten that card, and it's about kind of observing, being the observer in your own life, seeing it from a higher perspective, a bigger picture, not just the story. I kind of felt that energy, like when I see the storybook or the book, I think of our earthly like journey, but there's like a bigger picture here, and there's like a new beginning in that bigger picture. It's not this story. This story has kind of been wrote, and there's something here, maybe there's just a new energy here that's not, I feel like it's not this story. It's we had the mountains there, and then the story, and we got forgiveness and reunion of souls. And I think that's the bigger picture. In your story there might be a lot of things that are all for this energy, for this bigger kind of new beginning, this bigger energy. And maybe it's time to move away from an old story you told yourself, or an old environment, old thing. But I am going to read this Moon Maiden. And water signs are affected, I think, probably one of the more affected signs or elements of the moon. I mean, we know that water rises, and everything with the moon and everything that lives in the water is affected by that. It's just crazy. And it says the Moon Maiden arrives to offer you a new beginning, a new face and facet of yourself. That's what I was feeling, like an old story that's just the past. And you've already climbed that mountain, and you've reached a point where you ask yourself, now what does your heart want? Now that story's written, now that you've learned and climbed these mountains and these obstacles, now you're free to manifest what you want. And there's something here about forgiveness and a reunion of souls. And maybe that's where we're going with this energy, is you're wanting to heal some things, forgive some things, move into an energy of union, connected, like connect. Those qualities that you have been quietly cultivating are ready for the limelight. This secrecy. Okay, water signs. Sorry about that. 1 second. Okay, I think I was at... Oh, it says those qualities that you have been quietly cultivating are ready for the limelight. The secrecy was important, for it protected your new face and kept what was precious close to your heart. Oh, you've been working on something here in your story, climbing mountains, maybe doing some forgiveness and trying to have some kind of union or reunion with your soul self. I'm feeling like this is I'm feeling like a bigger picture here. And it's interesting because when I first started doing the water readings, I ended up saying like Cancer, and it was coming through strong. And this same energy, there was a chameleon and like blending in and kind of doing the work because you were shielding and protecting, like, and it was for water. I mean, water energy is water energy, but it was a shielding and a protecting of the heart and what the heart wants. And it says, announce the new you to yourself first. And there was like a quiet contemplation, and that's it. Deciding on what you value, deciding on what you want this new beginning to look like. What do you want that's new in your life, and what do you want it full of? Like, what kind of energy? Announce the new you to yourself first. Reveal it slowly to the world. Like the waxing moon, allow others to be surprised by how mature and grown up this side of you is. Now it's the time to set yourself free. The Moon Maiden belongs only to herself, and she is summoning the parts of you that challenge convention, that refuse to be intimidated. And I was feeling that too in the other reading. And it cannot be tamed or put inside a golden cage. And that's that strength card that had come out in the first reading. I might have to just post them both. I think I will. And this is just running with it, you guys. The Moon Maiden invites you to shine with your own light, to have radiant curiosity, and to ask anyone who offers you a mouthful of dogma, why do you believe this is so? Question everything others assume is a given, and do not collude with the drama around you. Become an unpredictable being, yet an eminently reliable friend. The Moon Maiden invites you to answer only to yourself and remind you that you are not anyone's property. Be true to your soul's calling, even as some around you in the relationship or a job want to capture your light inside a bottle. That was that strength card energy I was talking before I even started these readings today. I had a whole passionate, like flowing of spiritual energy. Just, it comes through like that. And I just know when I'm just giving messages from like a place that's just not typical, or not maybe part of like the story people are used to, or the book people are used to reading or seeing, that kind of energy. You know how to rise to the occasion, just as unfailingly as the moon does. When the time comes, you return to darkness and become enshrouded in mystery until you are ready to return. I love that. It's a really powerful message about this, submerging yourself in that deep place where nobody can understand what's going on there. They don't see what's going on there, and then emerging so it can be seen. That's really figuring it out over here. That's interesting. So we're going to get one of these Sacred Bee Oracles for you guys' reading here. This is, it's interesting. There's this definite difference, with the sun and the moon and the duality here. It's bringing those two together, really, what's seen and what's unseen, what's felt and what's understood. I've been getting this again, and I remember back, I don't know, a year or two, whenever I started doing these readings, like for the camera. I did the readings before, but just not on camera, and it took me a long time to get comfortable, even halfway, and I'm still not all the way comfortable with it, but it's became more comfortable, just being myself on a camera. It's not easy. We got redemption, that forgiveness, the redemption. I love that. The phoenix rising, the Moon Maiden coming out of the depths after doing all of her work in the dark and emerging and showing people what she's learned and how much she's got to contribute and light up the world here. And then on the bottom, transcendence. And this is that letting people see it. I'm going to read both those real quick. Let's see. It's a fire and an air. Redemption. And that has the phoenix in it, you guys. I don't know if you can see it. Phoenix kind of rising. What do you want? Be free to manifest your heart's desires. I think it's time to come out of this kind of... it's just really beginning this new... beginning or this new part of your journey, which I don't feel is just earthly. I feel it's very spiritual, with that new understanding and bringing it to light here within yourself first, but then for others to see. And understand or not understand, it doesn't matter. You're still going to shine that way. You're not going to let people trap your light in a cage, it said with the Moon Maiden. It's really letting it be seen, even if people don't believe it, don't want to believe it, don't want to see it. Kind of like the phoenix being like this energy or this character or this fantasy or this, you know, maybe thing that isn't real or whatever it is. It's very real. That energy is very real and it's profound. Let's look here. Transcendence. These are beautiful decks. They're the Journey of the Sacred Bee, Tarot and Oracle. And it's Kelly Burton. I love this. Let's see here. Trying to find it here, you guys. Bear with me. Transcendence. This was the one on the bottom. Transcendence. We simultaneously live in two worlds, and I was feeling that with the sun and moon. And we must be connected to both. As humans, we are so stuck in our heads, rehearsing, judging, planning. When we are fixated on our thoughts, we are blind to the shared intelligence of the human race. Most people must make a conscious effort to transcend beyond a daily routine into the metaphysical state of mind, which is letting that be seen, transcending it into reality, making something that isn't just mind stuff, air stuff, just become seen, known. It's interesting. They have to make a conscious effort to transcend beyond the daily routine into a metaphysical state of mind. We were talking about this morning too, about the daily routine and the sacrifices we make. And, you know, when I think of that, I'm like, yeah, a lot of people sacrifice that metaphysical state. It's for the physical, you know, it's interesting, but they're both, we're supposed to embrace both worlds. And that's the hard part, is that integration. Focus on moving beyond obstacles today. Think beyond your daily tasks and explore how your thoughts can put you in a bigger, better space in alignment with your higher good. Today is the day to focus on reaching a peaceful state of transcendence. Throughout the day, consider how you can leave behind your relationship with the ordinary and elevate it to the exceptional. And that's what I feel like this energy is. Time to move on from the ordinary to the exceptional. You know, I'm feeling that flow with the river. See where it takes you. That river, that deep undercurrent that's allowing you to move into a place where you can be seen. Let's see this redemption. I like that. And I think that's one of the most amazing things about people and our being, is how we do seek redemption. And we seek that. We care about, like, how we are. Like, that's kind of amazing that we don't just, a lot of people don't just, you know, it's like we really care about how much we grow and how much we learn. And we have this really deep-seated want, need, and it's like a soul deep need to want to just redeem ourselves and just be like, just take anything and everything that could be perceived as negative or bad and transcend it into something that's seen and more understood and can be therefore redeemed or processed and forgiveness. Yes, that's what I'm feeling, you guys. That was, you know, that's really profound energy. I love that. Strong. Let's look here. Redemption. No one among us is without fault. For us to realize our success, we need to be willing to rise above ego and recover from painful behaviors. No matter what has happened in the story, you guys, the mountains, the obstacles, reaching a point of being able to see beyond that and take those painful behaviors and rise from them and create a new beginning for yourself takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength and a lot of standing up for your spirit, like and our the not only the true experience that we have here to actually grow and learn, but our right to believe in that, to believe in that process, to believe in the absolute the steps and the journey it takes to get to this point where you go, oh, that is a lot to forgive. That is a lot to get through. That is a big, that's not just one mountain. That's like a whole range of mountains. And that's my story. And guess what? There's this phoenix just rising. I love it. No matter what has happened, there is an unbreakable diamond at the core. That diamond can withstand the fire that will come from the redemption that comes from recognizing and forgiving flaws and wrongdoings. This could be in other people. This could be in yourself. It's going to be both, you guys. That's just how this energy works. Atonement is a practice that has the wisdom of the ages behind it. There are many names and rituals for it, but you must choose your way. Getting clean, forgiving, making things right, and confessing are a few examples. You must have faith that when you walk through the fire, you can rise from the ashes. Do your part to make things right and commit to moving forward and not backwards. Coming out of that really deep place, you guys, where it's just emotional and heavy, and there's just this feeling of wanting to have this reunion of souls, like this connection between the dark and the light. And I feel like that's what water signs are really working on. It's understanding, like, that this is really a part of our being here, and it's just there's just a really strong feeling of coming out of an old story or an old energy and being a completely new and absolutely purified is another thing I feel with the phoenix. It's been through the fire, it's been through the range, the mountain range, and it's still, it's rising. It's growing from a place that nothing could break. Nothing could, and anybody who says they don't have faults or they haven't messed up or they don't need to forgive is just not being truly truthful and honest with themselves. And that's the truth. So it says, what does your heart want? It could want redemption. It could want forgiveness. I do remember, time to move on, flow with the river, see where it takes you. And then that total, this says fill and release all you've accumulated on this journey, any conditioning, anything like that, you guys, but also remembering that you can give this gift to yourself and therefore give it to others too. So that is a really nice little message there. And we are going to go ahead and get one of these. Actually, we're going to wait on that one. We're going to get a couple of these Intuit oracles. And this could be an animal. This could be a planet. This could be a timing card. This is like a mixed, this is like a huge deck of like tons of stuff in it. And we're just going to get two of these and see how that ties into the reading. Water signs, or water energy. I don't even want to say signs at this point because this is just the energy, water energy. If you're experiencing a lot of emotional, you're just working through emotional, it could be aftermath, it could be just your emotions in general, or trying to express anything emotional or feelings, or even psyche stuff. I look at the water as like the psychic stuff, the very, let's see, there's one, and it's balanced, centered, meditate, integrate opposite forces. That's what I'm feeling like. This could be something you are working on here. Water signs is bringing these things together that are very opposite. One being felt, one being seen and understood, one not being understood. Feeling complete. Awareness, just right. Equality and well-being. I love that. And then we're going to get one more of these. And we got Pluto, the great revealer. And I love, okay, so Pluto energy can be really difficult. It's Pluto. It's a little planet with a big impact. Because it's all about death, rebirth, transformation, releasing things that it reveals all the things that aren't serving you. It makes it a total transformation. Heed the call. It's kind of judgment. It is like the judgment card. And it says, heed the call, renewal, surrender, awakening, rebirth. That's a clean slate, redemption. This is starting over. Fundamental changes, clearing and purging, releasing anything that doesn't belong on your path anymore. Time to move on from old stories, old energy, old things that were maybe told to you or you told yourself or whatever. Those were obstacles that you have overcome. And now it is time to answer the call, your new chance to kind of rise and shine and not let anything cage that energy or put it in a place or a story, a book, a little earthy book because I feel like this is bigger than just like earth energy here. Don't put it in like a little earthy book because it's too much to sum up in a couple pages. That's what I'm feeling. It's big energy. So I want to get one of these Guardian Tarots, and I just like the imagery on these, and I'd like to see what I get from, and we're just going to get one of these. It's actually a tarot deck, but I feel it more like oracle-y. It's the Ace of Swords. That's that clarity. That's truth. That's also can be the beginning of communicating that truth and that clarity. Being really, having a new understanding of this, and then on the bottom, that devil energy, that's befitting. A new understanding and a new truth and a new clarity about that energy that's holding you back. The energy that's keeping you in a story or a book that's just not where you belong. That strength card, that moon maiden, coming out, rising, the phoenix here. There's a big energy here of getting a new perspective or a new insight, a new opportunity to maybe just think differently and move forward with this new kind of idea, and maybe to communicate it too. There could be communication here with the swords. So that is, and I love that with the moon there behind it too. Interesting. I'm getting that with this moon maiden card, the new beginning. I feel like this is a new thought process of removing yourself from a story that's not what your heart wants anymore, or being free to manifest what you truly want by using this, all the stuff you've gathered kind of in the dark and bringing it to light, communicating it maybe, being very clear about what it is you want. There's definitely, this could be, it's just really interesting. It has that same energy, and she even got wings, you guys. Like, look at this. It's almost like that, interesting, that fallen angel kind of energy. And with that devil card on the bottom, like how people perceive our obstacles or our faults, things we've done wrong, the redemption is here, the rising, the fallen angel kind of energy. That's really strong, that I'm getting that, you guys. But and we're going to get like 3 of these cards and get a little more on this. You are still lovable. You're not only lovable, but you are rising above circumstances, old stories, obstacles, and moving forward into a new energy. That's what I'm feeling, water signs. You've been in the water, you've been in the depths, you've been in it for a while, and it's now time to let it shine and not hold it back, not change it, not camouflage it for anybody, because they want to own it, claim it. It's yours to show the world this emotional, and this is that King of Discs. This is that earth energy coming out strong. This is a very, the King of Discs is earth, complete earth energy, like one of the strongest earth energies. And in balance, the King of Discs is the mastery of taking that spirit into reality and manifesting it into the physical reality. Out of balance, it's very materialistic, very, and very like, it can be very narrow-minded, because it's, and then we got the moon, you guys. This moon energy is coming through really, really strong. And this is that unseen, the unknown. What does your heart want? It's also coming out of the depths, this bee with this octopus here. Also Pisces energy. The story, the old story, the earth energy here with the story and the balance, centered, meditate, integrate, opposite forces. We're talking about water and earth here, and I've been feeling this for freaking years, like this water and earth energy just going at it. It's just crazy, like how much that like psychic or the deep kind of unseen and the scene and the earth energy kind of just I would like has a hard time seeing each other. Like, I don't know, the value, seeing value in the other. I don't know. There's just a really interesting unseen energy here that's kind of rising. Oh, and then look at that. Once again, we got an Ace of Swords again. Second Ace of Swords. This is that clarity, that truth, that new insight, that new perception of just seeing something differently, rising to the occasion, communication, being very straight and clear about the beginning of a new process, a way of thinking, about yourself maybe, or your story, and just it's part of this. And then on the bottom we got that Knight of Wands, that passionate energy, the taking action towards what you are passionate about, what you desire, but needing to not be impulsive. Also with the Knight of Wands, I always do worry about that. But this is a really nice reading, water signs. We got balance here, balancing out your story. Part of your story probably has been just working on your balance, working on your, working on integrating this earth energy with this moon energy to come up with a new clarity about, like, there's two sides to the story, two sides to the sword. The truth, the moon and the sun, that it's a huge coming together in the energy here, and a redemption. And then with that Ace of Swords there, with that devil energy, that fallen angel energy I keep getting. And if you think about it, biblically, Lucifer or Satan or whatever was like a fallen angel. You know, it's like interesting. I'm getting a lot more on this, and I could probably go further into this, but I'm not going to right now. I'm going to let that sit. But I always appreciate you guys coming, liking, subscribing, and watching your videos. And as always, I'll wish you guys a good day, and I will talk to you later.